Hello and welcome to this edition of Safety First. I'm your host, Frank Poulin, and today we're here with Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator for the City of Suffolk, Richard Stevens. Richard, thank you very much for joining me.
Sure.
Now today we're going to talk about, of course, we're getting into hurricane season.
We're in it,
and
yes.
we're in it. And it's been kind of dormant the past couple of years, kind of quiet, but we can't let our guard down, right?
That's correct. It only takes one.
It only takes one.
That's right.
And of course, it used to be, there was an evacuation plan. And you have to make sure you knew your evacuation plan to where you were going to, take your family in the event of a hurricane. And now the state of Virginia has kind of gotten together and created a plan.
Well, it's actually a tiered evacuation plan. That's correct. The governor announced it yesterday at Fort Monroe over in Hampton.
Okay.
But it's know your zone. That's the catchphrase. Know your zone.
Know your zone. So it's now, when there's a hurricane, it's not everybody get out as fast as you can. It'll be a tiered kind of zone A, head out now. Zone B, head out. Zone C. Is that how it's going to work, or how will it kind of work?
Kind of work. The new zone program is data driven.
Okay.
It's not just based on whether it's a Category 1, Category 2, Category 3 type hurricane. It takes into account the speed that the hurricane is approaching. It takes into account the direction of travel, the tide cycle.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of meteorological data has gone into determining the zones that are created, A, B, C, and D. So.
Okay, and how, if I'm living in, let's say, Portsmouth, how would I know, or northern Suffolk, how would I know my zone enough so that I understood what was going to happen at the appropriate time?
Okay, well, there is a website, knowyourzoneva.org, and you can simply go to that website, type in your address, and it'll tell you what zone you're in if you're in a zone.
Okay.
A lot of southern Suffolk isn't even in the zone.
Oh, really?
Because the zones are based basically off of storm surge and tidal flooding.
Okay, so is it all of Virginia or just kind of the coastal areas? Which area did they kind of focus on to create the website?
It focuses on anything that has to do with tidal flooding.
Okay.
But mostly the coast, that is correct.
Okay, and so once I learn my zone, like say in the event of a hurricane, so it's bearing down on us, I mean, they do all the data, can it theoretically be, all zones leave at once, or will it be that tiered structure, it'll be A, B, C, and D?
Right. Well, it very possibly could be all zones lead at once if the storm is a major storm, Category 3 or above, and it's coming at a westerly track right towards Hampton Road, something to that effect. You may have everybody asked to evacuate to a higher zone.
Okay.
But the unique thing about this plan is, if you're in Zone A and you're told to evacuate, you necessarily don't have to go to Williamsburg or Richmond or outside the area. You might be able to simply go to a southern area in Suffolk that's not in the zone.
Really? Okay.
So it really alleviates a lot of traffic on the interstate and when everybody's trying to get out of the area at one time.
Yeah, because prior to that, everyone would kind of think of, jump on 64 or jump on the highway and just go that route. So this plan, basically, the website will tell you which direction to evacuate to, or give you options, or how will that work?
It works very simple. You type in your address. It'll tell you if you're A, B, C, or D, or even if you're not in a zone.
Okay.
And if, for example, if a storm's coming and we ask that all Zone A people leave the area, if they know where a Zone C or D or outside of a zone is, they can simply go to that area, to a friend's house, family's house.
Got it. So you don't necessarily have to evacuate the area. If you can see, like you said, if Zone C doesn't need to evacuate, just go to a place in Zone C so you don't have to travel all the way to Fredericksburg.
That's correct. And it's important to remember that this is a tool, one tool in the toolbox to use for hurricane evacuation. This takes into account, once again, the track of the storm and tidal flooding and storm surge.
Okay.
So it doesn't account for rainfall totals like we had with Hurricane Matthew.
Okay.
It's simply tidal flooding and storm surge.
Got it. So this is kind of, like you said, one tool and kind of a kit that you need to have prepared in the event of evacuation.
That's correct, and it's funny you have prepared. That's the key. The key is to be prepared now, not to wait till the storm's coming to be prepared.
Of course,
but to have a plan in place, an evacuation plan. And it's also nice to know not just where your house falls in the zone, but if you're at work or where your children go to school,
even think of that.
or where other family members are. You can type in their addresses as well in Virginia, and it'll tell you if they're in a zone or not.
Okay.
So you'll know whether you can go to a relative's house or relatives can come to your house.
Yeah.
You can make preparations that way.
That's cool. Now, in the planning of this, I guess, was it just the state that kind of did this, or did they have input on the local level?
They had, well, a lot of research has gone into it. The state's been involved, the Army Corps of Engineers, and all the local emergency managers have been involved as well. So we've been working on this program for a long time.
Got it.
A private company, the Atkins Group, was hired to facilitate and get the plan rolling. They've been instrumental in New York, Florida, Louisiana, so forth. So a lot, like I said, a lot of data, a lot of information has gone into this tiered evacuation plan.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to mention about being prepared or anything like that?
Well, as mentioned before, the time to start preparing is now if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Part of your evacuation plan is knowing where to go. So have your plan in place, have your phone numbers, have your prescription medicine, anything you need in your emergency kit. And you can go to Ready, Virginia.
Okay. And then they have kind of a list of
they'll have
things
a list
for a kit
of things for a kit,
okay.
and it can be unique to the individual as well because everybody has their own specific needs.
Of course. All right, great. And so basically the big takeaway is the tagline, know your zone.
Know your zone, that's correct. A, B, C, D if you're even in a zone.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey, no problem, thank you.
And thank you at home for joining us, and definitely go online and know your zone today in the event of a hurricane.